Fox Sports welcomes you to the following presentation of the National Football League.
Welcome back. Our Jake Glazer reported earlier that today will be Tom Coughlin's last game as Giants head coach, joined by his family, 3 generations of Coughlin's, wife Judy, 11 grandchildren. And for more, we head downstairs to Laura Oakman. Laura.
And how awesome is that cheering section? Tom Coughlin's daughter, Kate, had those 11 sweatshirts made for the 11 grandkids who are all here today. Kate Coughlin told me, our family is no different than my dad's team. We know as little, if not less, as they do. He has stayed very true to the spirit of being focused on the game and told us absolutely nothing about his future. She said, but no matter what happens after today, we wanted him to know we love him, we support him, and we wanted to make today special for him. Kenny?
Thanks very much, Laura. His 12th season as Giants head coach. Only Steve Owen won more games. A 2-time Super Bowl champion.
And 2 of the most amazing victories in that Super Bowl game. Both of them against the New England Patriots, one of them being the undefeated Patriot team. So it's a Hall of Fame type career that Tom Coughlin has put together.
Giants won the toss, elected to defer. Josh Huff takes a knee. So with interim head coach Pat Shurmur at the helm today, Sam Bradford and the Eagles offense onto the field. Bradford with a career-high 380-yard game last week against Washington.
Has played very well the last 4 weeks, really starting to hit his stride. One of the things he said, which was surprising to me, you kind of forget, his knee feels great now. It's been about 15 months since that ACL injury.
Got to look at Pat Shurmur. Spent 2 seasons as the head coach of the Cleveland Browns, the offensive coordinator under Chip Kelly. Ryan Matthews in the backfield. Eagles start from their 20-yard line. 3 receivers set. Bradford stands in the pocket on first down, and the pass is short, intended for Matthews. So Pat Shurmur moves downstairs from the coaching box, serving as the interim head coach for the Eagles today.
A tough situation to be in, and he told us, when he went down to see Jeff Lurie, he was disappointed that Mr. Lurie felt he had to make that decision at that time to let Chip go.
This is Matthews on second down, and he gained 7 out to the 27-yard line, setting up third down and 3.
Eagles offensive line, can they give enough time for Sam Bradford to find his receivers down the field? Zach Ertz, the tight end, has had a career season this year. The Giants are really beat up on the defensive side of the ball. I think that's the best matchup for Philadelphia. Zach Ertz against the linebackers and safeties.
Hold on. Here.
Third down and 3 for Bradford and the Eagles. And the catch is made for the first down out of the backfield. It's Darren Sproles out to the 32-yard line for a gain of 5 as we check out the Giants defense, which is ranked last, 32nd in the league.
Yeah, they have not had a defensive playmaker for them all season long. Jasper Brinkley, one of the bright spots. He's kind of find his rhythm here as of late, but Steve Spagnuolo told us, with our first 11, we can't afford an injury. They already have one. Craig Dahl out of the lineup. Brandon Merriweather gets the start.
On first down, this is the tight end, Brent Selleck. And he is out across the 45-yard line. Another first down for Philadelphia. Landon Collins made the tackle, a gain of 14 for Selleck.
Well, I think one of the big questions that everybody had was, what would the difference be, or would there be any difference with the Eagles offense with this pace of play that Chip Kelly brought in? And Coach Shurmur said, we really didn't have the time to change anything. We're going to maintain that pace. We may do a few things here differently, maybe tweak it a little bit, but not much at all.
First carry for DeMarco Murray up the middle, first down and more. Being chased by Brandon Merriweather, and Murray will take it all the way 54 yards for a Philadelphia touchdown.
Ran motion across the formation, got some players out of position, and then well blocked up front. The most important thing is allowed DeMarco Murray to get his shoulders square to the line of scrimmage. Just a little inside zone. Jonathan Casillas late squeezing down, and that's a huge hole for DeMarco Murray.
His longest run of the season, 54 yards, his 6th rushing touchdown. Caleb Sturgis adds the extra point. 5 plays, 80 yards. After the firing of Chip Kelly, Eagles strike quickly. 7-0 Philadelphia.
Today's game is sponsored by Southwest. Transparency, no fares, nothing to hide.
Eagles score on their opening possession. 2nd longest run of DeMarco Murray's career. Went for 91 as a Cowboy against the Rams back in 2011. Shane Vereen back deep for the Giants. Dwayne Harris inactive today. Eli Manning and the Giants will start from their 20-yard line. He's thrown more touchdown passes against Philadelphia in his career than any other quarterback. It's his 35th birthday today.
Happy birthday, Eli.
Eli playing for the 2nd time on his birthday. Already has a career-high 33 touchdown passes this season. So the Giants trailing 7-0 early. Start from their 20-yard line. Odell Beckham Jr. back on the field for New York following his suspension. On first down, it is Rashad Jennings, who's had his best 3 games of the season, Darrell, over the last 3 weeks.
And he's been on a really good run right here, and he's going to have to continue that today. Bobby Hart gets the start for Marshall Newhouse, who is out of the lineup. But as you pointed out, Rashad Jennings has been on a tear the last 3 weeks. If you can run the ball effectively against the Eagles defense, it kind of changes up their philosophy. They get a little bit less aggressive.
Manning on 2nd down and 5, throws near side. It is Beckham for a Giants first down out at the 37-yard line, a gain of 12.
He makes things that are got a little bit of a degree of difficulty look so simple. I mean, this is not super easy right here, getting these feet in on the sideline, right over the top of E.J. Baker's good throw by Eli Manning, but Odell Beckham Jr. makes things look so simple out there.
His 92nd catch of the season. That's a new career high. This is Jennings on first down. Up the middle. Out to the 41. For a gain of 4, brought down by Bo Allen.
And if you're going to be able to run the ball effectively, the Giants have to know where Fletcher Cox is. He's been a force this season. He can line up anywhere across the line of scrimmage, and if the Giants are able to hold up in protection, very similar to their own defense, Philadelphia has struggled with the tight end running back matchup all season.
9.5 sacks for Cox. He's headed to the Pro Bowl. 2nd down at 6. It's Jennings. And Rashad Jennings fights his way across the 45-yard line. Again, Allen on the tackle, so the Giants facing a 3rd down and a long 1. Well, Tom Coughlin wrapping up his 12th season. Eli Manning has never played for another head coach in the National Football League. It's Eli's 183rd consecutive start. On 3rd and 1, on the toss, it's Jennings, and he picks up a first down into Eagles territory.
And it's a good sign. And I was wondering, we had them earlier in the season against Washington, and they were still experimenting with the running back by committee theory. And you could see that Rashad Jennings was really starting to assert himself, to take ownership of that role. And that's why he's been on this run for the last 3 weeks. I'm just a big fan of allowing that running back to get into the rhythm during the course of the game to have success.
From the 47, off the fake to Jennings. Manning could not find anyone downfield. He was under pressure from Brandon Graham.
Eli Manning looking to the outside, the top of the screen. Hakeem Nicks, 88. Ruben Randall down the seam. Didn't feel comfortable with that. Odell Beckham Jr., you know that he's going to get double coverage. But remember, the middle of the field. The middle of the field has been the Achilles heel of this Eagles defense. On
2nd and 10, Manning over the top. And taken to the 43-yard line by Jennings.
Part of this offense that the Giants are running now the second year with Ben McAdoo at the helm. A lot of flexibility for Eli Manning at the line of scrimmage, has taken that step here in the second season.
Bingo! Did you learn that signal from his brother?
That was an interesting one. That's the first time we've seen that one.
Third down and 7. Giants must get to the 37-yard line for a first down as Manning takes off. And he slides, picks up a first. There are 2 flags. One in the offensive backfield, the other in the defensive secondary. Gene Steratore, our referee today.
There are fouls by both teams on the play. Holding, offense number 77. Illegal use of the hands of the face, defense number 35. Those penalties offset, replay third down.
John Jerry, Giants right guard, and Eagles corner Denzel Rice.
John Jerry, the right guard with the hold on Vinnie Curry.
Rice, who is guilty Eagle. Penalties offset, third down and 7, empty backfield. Manning out of the shotgun. Play clock at 1. Giants get the snap away. It is Ruben Randall, but he is unable to hang on in bounds.
Looks like he probably would have been short of the first down, put the Giants in a position to think about going for it on 4th, but unable to control the ball, get the feet down in time. Again, it's kind of what we talked about with Odell Beckham Jr. You know, very similar route on the opposite side of the field. Odell makes it look so simple, and you can see how challenging that is for the guys on the outside.
Darren Sproles back deep, a low snap. Giants going with their 3rd different long snapper of the season due to injuries. And it will be down around the 2-yard line. So Wing taking advantage of the low snap. DeMarco Murray and the Eagles offense when we return.
Today's game is sponsored by Bud Light, the official beer sponsor of the NFL.
Beautiful day here at MetLife Stadium, 45 degrees. Is it really January?
It's going to be January here in a couple of days in the New York area. It's going to get cold, people.
That's what it sounds like. Coming out of the end zone on first down, Ryan Matthews, Cullen Jenkins, the former Eagle, along with Jay Bromley.
And I think one of the big question marks is pace of play. This is the biggest change that Chip Kelly brought to the NFL when he was hired as head coach of the Philadelphia Eagles. With Pat Shurmur there as the interim head coach, how much does it change? And the challenge for Steve Spagnuolo really going up against a new play caller as well. What will his style be? What are the favorite things that he and Sam Bradford will want to go to?
Bradford swings it out on 2nd and 9. It's Matthews. There is a flag as Matthews stays in bounds, and that is forced out by Landon Collins. Flag back in the end zone.
And this could be a question of where was Jason Peters? Maybe a trip on Jason Peters on Robert Ayers Jr., and he was right near the end zone.
Tripping, offense number 71. Half the distance to the goal. Replay 2nd down.
Right here at the end of the line of scrimmage, so but he's really, really lucky. You see that happen outside of the end zone.
If he committed the penalty in the end zone, it would be a safety.
Yes.
Peters heading to his 8th Pro Bowl. 2nd down and 10. Again, Bradford swinging it out. And this time it's Kenyon Barner.
Throwing swing passes backed up on this point of the field. Watch where this ball is caught by Kenyon Barner. I mean, he is 5 yards deep in the end zone.
So the Eagles now facing a 3rd down and 8. They lead the Giants 7-0. Eagles must get to the 12-yard line for a 1st down. Movement prior to the snap.
It's going to be a huge penalty against George Selvey if this is a neutral zone infraction.
Neutral zone infraction. Defense, number 93, 5-yard penalty. Still 3rd down.
The margin for error in a season like this is so small, and you can't do these things. You're going to be coming from the side right here. He jumps in, impacts Jason Peters. I have issues with this play. Back when I played the game, guys were allowed to come in the neutral zone. As an offensive lineman, you didn't move. You had to have the center snap the ball, but that penalty gives the Eagles a great opportunity to convert when the Giants had them backed up.
Goes from 3rd and 8 to 3rd and 3 following the penalty committed by Selvey. Bradford airing it out, and it's through the hands of Jordan Matthews.
Big plays that could be made by this offense. They had several opportunities in the game last week. Here's another one coming out of the slot. Going to press Riley Cooper inside. A little bit of a rub there. That's where the separation comes. Look at the throw by Sam Bradford in stride. The Eagles lead the NFL in drop passes.
Matthews, their leading receiver this season. Giants send Beckham back deep in the absence of Harris. The punt by Donnie Jones bounces in front of Odell Beckham Jr. And the Giants will have terrific field position in Eagles territory midway through the 1st quarter.
Today's game is sponsored by Mobile Strike. Download and play now, free from the App Store.
We take a look back at some of the pregame shenanigans prior to the Giants' last home game against Carolina 2 weeks ago.
Yeah, baseball bat on the field pregame. You saw the jawing before the game, and then it just got out of control once the game started. And Odell Beckham Jr. completely lost his composure, was baited into that situation, and had to sit out last week, and his team really missed him.
Served his 1-game suspension. Giants routed by the Vikings on Sunday night. Pass is caught by the tight end, Will Tye. He bounces off the tackle and picks up a 1st down. Tye, the rookie out of Stony Brook, gained 17.
Yeah, he's done a nice job. He stepped in the injury to Larry Donnell and Daniel Fells, and watch Will Tye find the little soft spot right here, but then the run after the catch. E.J. Biggers just throws his shoulder in, and you're going to bounce off that and continue downfield.
Ben McAdoo, the offensive coordinator, telling us they refer to Tye as Baby Gates, as in Antonio. First carry today for Andre Williams as we head downstairs to Laura.
Kenny, I know you and Daryl saw this. Odell Beckham Jr. usually all smiles during warm-ups. Not today. Very little smiling or dancing, very focused. He told me the biggest thing he's learned from this, be the bigger person. I asked him if anything will change moving forward. He said, not the way I play, and I'm sure not the way I'm being played. There's always been a target. I just can't respond to it.
2nd down and 1 as Williams picks up a 1st down. We head to Los Angeles for a game break. Say hello to Mike Hill. Mike.
Hey guys, playoff scenarios abound. Pittsburgh needs to win. Jets lost to get into the playoffs. Ben Roethlisberger doing his part. Finds Heath Miller is tight end for the 2-yard score. 7-0 Steelers. Right now it's scoreless in Buffalo between the Jets and Bills. We'll keep you updated. Kenny, Moose, back to you.
All right, thanks very much, Mike. Steelers in with a win and a Jets loss. Standing on 1st down, looking left. Now he throws, end zone, and it's out of the reach of Miles White. He scored his first career touchdown Sunday night on a pass from Ryan Nassib.
This is a really nice job by the offensive line and protection, hanging in there, and here comes Miles White out of the slot right here. Goes inside, then back outside, working against safety Malcolm Jenkins. Has the steps, he is behind him. Overthrown by Eli Manning.
2nd down and 10. Beckham split wide right. Manning dumps it off. This is Shane Vereen. And Vereen picks up a Giants 1st down inside the 5.
You bring Shane Vereen into the lineup. One of the things you have to think about immediately is the screen game. You're going to bring all your receivers from the right side of the field, cross them. There goes your screen element, the offensive lineman out in front.
Career high 54 receptions for the former Patriot Vereen this season.
180. What's that?
First and goal from the 5. The handoff to Vereen. And he works his way down to the 4-yard line, second and goal.
Maybe a few more options in your play calling with Shane. He's a good receiver out of the backfield as well.
3 receivers to the left. Now Beckham comes in motion to the right.
Go hard 27. Hard 27, Jam. Hard 27 to your left. 180.
Manning punting out 27. Malcolm Jenkins on second and goal to the end zone. White fighting for it. And it was broken up by the former Giant Walter Thurman.
Sometimes you get lured into play calling by statistics, and you wonder if that's a situation right here. Philadelphia's really struggled in their pass coverage in the red zone, giving up 29 touchdown passes.
Now third and goal. Beckham slot to the right. Vereen in the backfield. Beckham in motion to the left. Jenkins goes with him. Manning on third and goal, and he throws it through the back of the end zone. So the Giants will send out their field goal unit.
I think sometimes in your preparation, you look at your matchups, and once you get into the red zone, you know how much Philadelphia has struggled down there. But you were really doing a nice job on this job with running the football, some short passes. You get down here, and it's 3 passes into the end zone, and you're walking away right now with a field goal attempt. Not one time did they challenge that front with Rashad Jennings or Andre Williams in the run game.
So here is Josh Brown out to attempt a 22-yard field goal. We mentioned the new long snapper, Tyler Ott. Giants are on the board. Just over 4 minutes remaining. First quarter from MetLife Stadium, 7-3 Eagles. There's Will Tye, number 45. He made the 17-yard reception, which helped lead to the Josh Brown field goal. Giants go 9 plays, 44 yards.
A little bit of complimentary football on that series. Tom Coughlin not happy the way his team played in all 3 phases against Minnesota. Felt the defense played well enough. Offense did not help out at all with their turnovers.
Here's Josh Huff. And he is down at the 15-yard line. Late first quarter from MetLife Stadium. Eagles leading the Giants in the season finale for both 6 and 9 teams by a 7-3 score. Marco Murray with a 54-yard touchdown run on the Eagles' first possession. Sam Bradford and the Eagles offense back to work from their 20-yard line. This is Murray on first down, and he was met initially by Robert Ayers Jr., having a terrific season for the Giants.
And I think this is one of the areas why DeMarco Murray has been frustrated. 45 to the line of scrimmage, not parallel to the line of scrimmage, running towards the sideline. That's not his forte.
Loss of 3 on the play, second down and 13. Bradford swings it out. Jordan Matthews, and across the 20. Colin Jenkins the tackle, so Matthews gaining 7.
See the play clock up at the top as it runs down. Colin Jenkins told us in preparation they had been running about to 20 seconds at snap, exactly where the Eagles snapped at that time.
Eagles keep it on the ground on third down, and Darren Sproles picks up the first out to the 34-yard line as Sproles goes for 13.
And maybe the most consistent performer in the backfield. I think that Darren Sproles is a very, very good fit for this offense. All the different things that they do, especially from the running back position.
Sproles heading to his second Pro Bowl. New set of downs for Philadelphia. Empty backfield from the 34 on the slant. Diving attempt is made by Josh Huff.
And you're going to be challenged to find your way back to your man as routes release. You see the little rubs right there as everybody's trying to find their way through. You get stacked, you get close. As you release, you're having crossing routes, trying to confuse the defenders, make the defenders run bubbles to create that separation.
Second and 10. Off the play fake, over the middle, it's the tight end, Ertz. Zach Ertz had a huge game against the Redskins last Saturday with 13 receptions, and he takes this one all the way down to the Giants' 6, a 60-yard catch and run.
Yeah, middle of the field for the Giants, very, very similar. Same scenario as the Eagles. It's been the area where teams have attacked them, and this is one of the stress points in the Eagles' defense. They used to stress you with the zone read. Is it running back taking the ball? Is it quarterback keeping the ball? What we're seeing now with Sam Bradford is the run play action. They're not going to allow Sam Bradford to keep the ball and run, but he's going to drop back and hit the quick play action.
Longest career reception for Ertz. Now Sproles cuts to the outside, to the end zone, touchdown.
See on the edge here, it looked like Jason Pierre-Paul might have been held by Lane Johnson. No, hands inside, good block by Lane Johnson. That secures the edge. Darren Sproles, nobody outside.
So two big plays, the story for the Philadelphia Eagles here in the first quarter. The 54-yard touchdown run by Murray, and then the 60-yard reception by Ertz. Sturgis, the extra point. 14-3 Philadelphia, playing for interim head coach Pat Shurmur today, following the firing of Chip Kelly on Tuesday night. His first season, 2013. What a year for Nick Foles. Eagles making to the playoffs at 10-6. They finished 10-6 again last year, but missed the playoffs without Deshaun Jackson. And then LaShawn McCoy, of course, now in Buffalo. Nick Foles, Jeremy Maclin gone, and with a record of 6-9, Kelly was let go on Tuesday night.
And that was the biggest thing, and I was on the early pregame show, and Jimmy Johnson made a great point about trying to get star talent in the NFL, and when you have it, you can't give it away. And once Chip Kelly was able to have complete control over the roster, Jeff Lurie gave him all that power in a shift late last season. You get into March, and you saw the players that left, and over those last 2 years, it's hard to find those types of players, those dynamic, big play type players like Deshaun Jackson, LaShawn McCoy, Jeremy Maclin. You bring in other players, they're good players, but you had explosive players that are difficult to find in the NFL.
And we've seen a couple of explosive plays from the Eagles today as they lead the Giants 14-3. Vereen takes a knee. Eli Manning and the Giants will start from their 20-yard line. We head to Los Angeles for a game break, and Mike Hill. Mike.
Hey, New York trying to get one team into the playoffs. Jets get a win, or Pittsburgh loss and they're in, but not looking good so far. Tyrod Taylor, 18-yard score, putting the Bills on top 7-0. Meanwhile, in Cleveland, Pittsburgh leading the Browns 7-0 there in the first. Kenny, moves back to you.
All right, thanks, Mike. Jets are in with either a victory in Buffalo or a Pittsburgh defeat. Giants start from their 20-yard line on the toss. It's Jennings who turns on the Jets. Still going. Jennings across midfield and finally knocked out of bounds at the Eagles' 45-yard line. So Jennings goes for 35.
Great job by the Giants. Offensive line securing the edge. Justin Pugh pulling out and around. There's the seal right there on Najee Good. That allows Rashad Jennings to get to the sideline.
And the challenge flag has been thrown by Pat Shurmur as Giants look to get the snap off, and Jennings gains 5 more yards to the 40.
Philadelphia is not able to challenge as the red flag came out after the snap. Second down.
I guess Shurmur, you hear him say, I didn't get it in time. I thought he went out challenging where, in fact, Jennings initially stepped out of bounds.
Take a look right here as Rashad Jennings works the sideline. I think he's in.
Yeah, I do
think
too.
that Pat Shurmur's lucky right there. He's not going to lose that timeout.
He hasn't had much practice throwing that challenge flag. Has not been a head coach since 2012.
Well, you know, I think that's one of the things that we're kind of overlooking right here. You know, we're talking about him as a play caller and everything, but there's so many different mechanics that he's responsible for now as the head coach. You know, keep an eye right down here.
Philadelphia's attempt
there
to
it goes,
challenge
right there.
was after the snap. Therefore, the challenge request is ignored. We're going to reset the game clock to 1 minute 12 seconds. And please reset the play clock to 40 seconds, and the clock will start on my ready for play.
One of the best in the business right there, Gene Steratore. Always a pleasure for us to work with him. I love the explanations during the course of the game that helps clarify what's happening on the field. One of the best there is of all the referees at doing
Number
that.
98 is being
Absolutely.
removed for one play due to a medical timeout.
So Connor Barwin replaced by Brandon Graham. Second down and 5 for the Giants after the Eagles attempted to challenge the previous play. But the Giants got the snap off. Now Tom Coughlin chatting with the line judge, Gary Arthur. All right, here we go. Second down and 5. Jennings in the backfield.
For Fletcher Cox right there. I haven't called his name a whole lot right now.
Manning hands it off to Jennings, who has set a new career high for rushing yards in a season during the first quarter. It'll be third down and 1 after Jennings picks up 4.
And you can play him anywhere. There's a stand-up kind of defensive end style right there. And one of the things that defensive coordinator Bill Davis told us about Fletcher Cox is he's really worked on his strike, his ability to keep those offensive linemen off of him. Even from that two-point stance, he's able to do that.
Jennings picks up a first down, so the Giants move the chains as Cox thinks about his trip to Hawaii for his first Pro Bowl.
Well-deserved.
Along with 2 teammates, Jason Peters and Darren Sproles. Time winding down in this first quarter. Under 10 seconds. Off the fake to Jennings. Manning rolling right, and that pass is short, intended for the tight end, Will Tye, as the clock stops with 1 second remaining.
That's a good job by the Philadelphia defense. They've got everybody covered here. Will Tye crosses a formation. He's your shallow route. Michael Kendricks has him. They had the intermediate and the deep routes covered. Eli Manning nowhere to go with the ball on that bootleg.
Final play of the first quarter. Second and 10 from the Eagles 33.
118. I said it.
Rashad Jennings continues to run hard. Jennings has a first down to the Eagles 12. 21 more yards for Rashad Jennings. With the Giants on the move, but a couple of big plays from the Eagles, they lead 14-3. The first quarter numbers, Eagles with 2 big plays, 54-yard run and a 60-yard pass. And how about Rashad Jennings, 89 yards on the ground in the first quarter.
Yeah, and stay with it, all right? Philadelphia's defense has given up 29 touchdown passes in the red zone, but Rashad Jennings is running the ball really effectively right now. Don't abandon it.
Well, they stick with Jennings. And he's down to the 7-yard line for a gain of 5.
You can look at statistics, but when you get into the game, there's going to be other matchups that pop up. Right now, if you've got a hot runner, let's stay with him. Let's see if this Philadelphia defense is going to man up and try and stop this running game.
Giants quickly back up to the line. Second down and 5 from the Philadelphia 7. Off the play fake. Manning could not find anyone open. It's now 3rd and 5.
Philadelphia is doing a great job right now on these bootleg type plays. They've got everybody locked down, and you tier your routes. As Eli Manning moves out to the right side, it's going to be shallow, intermediate, and then deep. It's harder in this part of the field when you've given up all that yardage, but Philadelphia, a great job of covering all his outlets.
Middle.
Vereen in the backfield, 3rd down and 5. Manning steps up, down he goes. Back at the 12-yard line. Marcus Smith, a first-round pick last year out of Louisville.
And somebody that they've been waiting for to make an impact on this defense, and continues to work, uses his speed, comes around the edge. But that's 6 plays in the red zone, 5 passes for the Giants. Rashad Jennings got you 5 on that 1 carry, so I think they're getting a little pass heavy when they get in the red zone.
All right, here's Josh Brown, who hit from 22 earlier. This will be a 30-yard attempt from the left hash. And Brown is 2 for 2. Eagles again hold the Giants to a field goal in the red zone.
Today's game is sponsored by Pizza Hut. Bring home the flavor only at Pizza Hut. By AT&T, mobilizing your world. And by Pepsi. Go behind the scenes of the Pepsi Super Bowl 50 halftime show only on Pepsi.com.
Early second quarter with the Eagles leading the Giants 14-6 in what could be Tom Coughlin's final game as Giants head coach. Giants drive 10 plays, 68 yards. On the other side, it is the first game of the post-Chip Kelly era for the Philadelphia Eagles. The Eagles with 2 touchdowns. They've held the Giants to a pair of field goals. So the Eagles offense back out onto the field. Quarterback Sam Bradford, he and Pat Shurmur worked together in St. Louis during Bradford's rookie season. Shurmur was the offensive coordinator for head coach Steve Spagnuolo, who was the Giants defensive coordinator, and under Shurmur, Bradford was the NFL Offensive Rookie of the Year.
Yeah, had his best season of his professional career, was able to stay healthy the entire season. So there's some familiarity there between your play caller and your quarterback, and that was one of the things that was concerning to Steve Spagnuolo, is this is all going to be new to me and to our guys on defense. We've got to figure it out very quickly what Sam Bradford and Pat Shurmur have in store for us offensively.
Eagles start from the 20-yard line. This is Ryan Matthews, who tried to turn the corner, and he is hit for a loss as we head to Los Angeles. Game break. Kurt.
Well, the Houston Texans win the AFC South with a victory today over Jacksonville. They're off to a good start. Jonathan Grimes from Brian Hoyer, 12-yard score. They lead at 10-0 starting the second quarter. Kenny Moose from Laura.
All right, thanks, Kurt. As Kurt mentioned, Texans in with a win. Bradford on second down, catch is made by Ertz. And he's out to the 32, Brandon from the 31. Eagles keep it on the ground. Out to the 33-yard line, it is Matthews. Steve Spagnuolo, who spent many years in Philadelphia on Andy Reid's staff, along with Pat Shurmur, and then he took Pat with him to St. Louis.
A lot of connections throughout the NFL coaching staffs. A lot of friends competing against each other every Sunday.
Second down and 7 off the fake to Matthews. Bradford with time. The pass gets deflected by Jason Pierre-Paul and then intercepted by Jonathan Casillas.
Nice job by Jason Pierre-Paul. He's not going to get to the quarterback. He's along the line of scrimmage. So then let's get your hands up and see if we can get a deflection on the ball. So right there, soft playing it a little bit, eyes the quarterback. Look at him slide into that throwing lane. Gets the deflection for Jonathan Casillas. How good is that to see a play made by Jason Pierre-Paul? Been just such a tough year for him coming back from that fireworks accident back on the 4th of July. Missing the whole first half of the season for the Giants.
And then Casillas comes back with his first career interception. First and 10 from the 35-yard line as Manning throws, and the catch is made for a first down by Ruben Randall at the Eagles' 14-yard line, a 22-yard pass play.
I like the aggressive play call by Ben McAdoo here right after the turnover, deep in route for Ruben Randall. Good throw into traffic by Eli Manning. A lot of Eagle defenders in the area.
Third consecutive trip into the red zone, or as Tom Coughlin likes to call it, the green zone, the money area. And they have been held to a field goal on both occasions. 1st and 10 from the 14-yard line. This is Jennings. And Rashad Jennings gains 5 down to the 9. Taylor Hart, the tackle.
See, it's a good positive gain on 1st down. Let's stick with it again. Let's go with another run here on 2nd down and then see where we're at. And then maybe if we have to throw on 3rd, we'll take a look.
There's Ben McAdoo, Giants offensive coordinator. He put up terrific offensive numbers in his 2 seasons on Tom Coughlin's staff. 2nd down and 5. Manning to the outside as the tight end Will Tye, who breaks free into the end zone for a Giants touchdown. 3rd of the season for the man they call Baby Gates.
Yeah, Baby Gates with his 3rd touchdown of the year. Nice move at the end. It's just a simple flat route. Catches the ball, puts his foot in the ground, and then gets back inside. Act like you're helping out in coverage. Inside out coverage by Michael Kendricks, overruns it. Walk in for Will Tye.
So the Giants capitalize following the Philadelphia turnover. The extra point is good, so the Giants have pulled to within 1 for head coach Tom Coughlin. The Giants are 6-9, biggest story of their season. The 5 games in which they led with under 2 minutes remaining and lost. First 2 weeks of the year to the Cowboys and Falcons. Then that great game. We were there in New Orleans, 52-49 defeat New England and the Jets.
And just think, if you just go 2-3 in those 5 games right now, you're 8-7 with eyes down in Dallas right now, watching the Washington Redskins and the Dallas Cowboys for the NFC East title. Still a losing record, 2-3, but 0-5. That is the one point that people will bring up. And when you're talking about the potential for a coaching change here, I think it's the hardest one to defend in support of Tom Coughlin,
who told us yesterday, what I've learned this season, you must win the close games.
The NFL has come down to the final 4 minutes, the final 4th quarter, and it's difficult. Everybody is playing with the mentality of let's get into the 4th quarter in a tight game and see if we can make the plays necessary to get a victory. That's the way the league is functioning. So if you're losing close games, it's going to be a difficult season for you.
Giants have lost 7 games this season decided by 6 points or fewer. The all-time record is 8 Tampa Bay last year as Bradford connects with Carter on 1st down. Bradford picked off on the last Eagles possession by Jonathan Casillas, leading to a Giants touchdown, only the 4th interception thrown by Bradford in the last 7 games. On 2nd and 8, not much running room. As Bonner is tackled by George Selvey.
And what's one of the words that we continue to hear week in and week out, Kenny, when we sit down with coaching staffs is consistency, and it's kind of exactly what we're seeing here this afternoon. Philadelphia with the explosive capability that we've seen from time to time, and then they'll get into these little lulls where it's tough for them to move the ball.
3rd down and 8. Bradford throws, and the catch is made for a 1st down by Jordan Matthews. Merriweather brought him down. Matthews gains 25.
That's a really nice throw by Sam Bradford right here, right over the top of the linebacker level. And again, they are going after the middle of the field. It's the area where the Giants have really struggled this season. Linebacker and safety, they're finding those soft spots for their big plays.
As we mentioned, Giants without a couple of safeties today, and Greg Dahl and Cooper Taylor. Eagles now in Giants territory. Farmer gaining 5 on 1st down. Four receiver set, 2nd down and 5. Off the fake to Bonner. Bradford's pass is caught, and then Bonner is led immediately by the former Eagle, Dominique Rodgers-Cromartie, gain of 2 on the play. It will be 3rd down and 3.
It's been fun to watch Dominique Rodgers-Cromartie play. We're really the playmaker on this defense consistently throughout the course of the year with Jason Pierre-Paul not there for the first half of the season. He's been the guy that's played aggressively on the outside with some big plays defensively.
must get to the 43-yard line for a first down, and they do. As the catch is made by Matthews, Trevin Wade defending. Eagles again able to move the chains.
One pass rusher on the front, Jason Pierre-Paul, bottom of the screen, trying to go back inside. Good recovery by Lane Johnson right there.
Jason Pierre-Paul, who turned 27 on New Year's Day on Friday. Bradford swings it out to Sproles, and it is Casillas who chases him down, short gain.
You read the articles this week about Jason Pierre-Paul, and he feels some responsibility for the situation the Giants are in, missing that first half with that fireworks accident. And I think the future is promising for Jason Pierre-Paul. He's looking forward to more surgeries, to be able to get rid of that big club that he's wearing, allow himself to grip and play more with two hands than he has at any point this season.
Playing in his 8th game, he missed the first 8.
That's a huge loss because this league is really about affecting the quarterback. And when you come into, the offseason, you're halfway through your summer and you think you've got one of the best pass rushers in the NFL, and all of a sudden somebody tells you, guess what? You're not going to be with Jason Pierre-Paul for an extended period of time. Tough to adjust.
Sproles picks up the first down on 3rd and 5.
There he is again. I think just he's a good fit for what this scheme is right here. He does so many different things beyond his ability as a punt returner.
Two set of downs for the Eagles as we hit 7 minutes remaining, second quarter. Philadelphia leading by 1. From the Giants 32. Bradford's pass knocked down again. It's JPP who got his hand on the interception on the deflection, and he bats this one down.
It's just the savvy. Watch as the tackle goes down to cut, you're going to play that down and then get out and slide into the throwing lane. You know it's going to be a quick pass. You know the trajectory is going to be low.
Bradford had completed his last 6 attempts prior to that one. Second down and 10. Marco Murray in the backfield. Off the fake to Murray. Bradford throws and passes off the mark, intended for the rookie out of USC, Nelson Aguilar.
And working off that play action, giving you a lot of different things to look at, going down the field and then trying to work back, working against Dominique Rodgers-Cromartie. You see Nelson Aguilar and Brent Selleck right there, mirrored routes right next to each other.
Eagles 5 for 6 on 3rd down today. It's 3rd and 10. Bradford's pass is caught by Ertz. And Zach Ertz has another Philadelphia first down, gain of 11 as we head to Los Angeles for a game break with Mike Hill. Mike.
Once again, Jets win. They're in the playoffs. If Pittsburgh loses, they're also in the playoffs. Not looking good for the Jets right now. Carlos Williams, 2-yard score for the Bills, making it 13-0. Ensuing drive, Randy Bullock misses the 39-yarder. Still 13-0 Bills. Meanwhile, Steelers lead the Browns 7-3 in the second. Back to you guys.
All right, thanks, Mike. Marco Murray bottled up on first down with the Eagles driving, leading the Giants by a point. And Bradford, 7 of 9 on this drive.
You mentioned his hot streak, 5 of the last 6 games. He's 90+ in his quarterback rating in this offense for Philadelphia.
Second down and 11. Bradford with time. He throws, and the catch is made at the 3-yard line by Zach Ertz. 19-yard completion.
I just don't know how you lose certain players in a game. You know that Zach Ertz is one of the guys that you're going to have to stop. Zach Ertz, Jordan Matthews are the 2 guys that you don't want to allow to get on a roll in the passing game. And yet here we are at this stage of the game, and they're the biggest producers for Philadelphia.
Well, it's over 100 yards for the second straight week. And now it is Murray, and he gets thrown back by Robert Ayers Jr.
He has been playing well since the return of Jason Pierre-Paul, and just having Jason Pierre-Paul along that defensive line and having to account for him, you can't commit extra guys to Robert Ayers Jr. So now he's getting a lot of one-on-one matchups across the front.
Career high 8.5 sacks for Ayers Jr. this season. Murray lost a yard. 16th play of the drive. Second and goal from the 4.
That's very Eagle-like.
Right. Bradford looking end zone. He throws. Touchdown. Jordan Matthews.
Just the attrition on the defensive side of the ball. You know, the depth of talent has been exposed with the injuries on that side. And Steve Spagnuolo told us coming in, our first 11 have to be healthy all game, and they lose safety Craig Dahl early on. Jordan Matthews on the outside, simple route, little combination, outside route comes underneath, inside route goes to the corner.
Longest drive of the season for the Eagles as far as number of plays and time. 6 minutes, 23 seconds, Bradford to Matthews.
Today's game is sponsored by Chevrolet. Find new roads.
Well, for the Philadelphia Eagles offense this season, things have certainly tailed off following the last 2 years.
And you wonder what that's a reason for. You know, when they came onto the scene, I remember watching that first game, Philadelphia versus Washington on Monday night, and how confused the Redskins looked and how difficult it was for them to keep pace with the offense that Chip Kelly put out there. You had tremendous playmakers out in space. It looked like nobody was covered that night. The NFL gets you on film and they watch you and they start to pick you apart. They start to defend you. Every team that has Philadelphia on their schedule does things specifically only to them to prepare for this game. So those numbers have dropped off. I credit defensive coordinators and players around the league for their adjustment to their style.
Eagles with 3 touchdowns in the first half today for interim head coach Pat Shurmur.
With Chip's vision, it was an opportunity that he wanted to lead the way to try to go from good to great. One of the ways to make him accountable was to have him make those decisions, because that is what he insisted on doing. If you want to make those decisions, be accountable for them. Sometimes the risks don't work, and in this case, it didn't work.
I think that Jeff Lurie had not bought in. He said he did not buy into Chip Kelly's philosophy totally at that point, so he gave him complete control. You go back and look at the changes in personnel last March. That's when that statement about going from good to great with the potential for being mediocre, when you're 6-9, you're not even mediocre.
By the way, Chip Kelly 4-1 against the Giants as Eagles head coach. Giants start from the 20-yard line. Manning looking on first down. And now he fires near side to Rashad Jennings. Ran the tackle as Jennings gains 3. For more on the Eagles situation, downstairs to Laura.
I was talking to Malcolm Jenkins, who said what this season has really shown this team is we need to improve as a team, not X's and O's wise. We want to be closer outside the building, more family oriented. We're not invested in each other. He said this environment didn't really build that, Kenny.
All right, thanks, Laura. Looks like Bo Allen did not get off the field in time. And a flag was thrown. Eagles with a 12th man on the field.
Big guy's hustling. He's doing everything he can. He's going to have to sit out a couple plays just trying to get off the field.
Defense. 5-yard penalty, replay, second down.
Allen started today for the injured Benny Logan, so he did not get off the field in time.
I think that Malcolm's point when he was talking to Laura is one of the things that we mentioned at the top. It's that environment that Jeffrey Lurie wants to see created in the facility. And I just don't think he believed it was ever going to be there. It was ever going to have the opportunity to sustain the success that he wanted.
Jennings picks up 2, down to Laura.
It's, Darryl, what you always talk about. I was talking about with Malcolm, does the coach build the environment or do the players? And he said both. But with Chip's system, he said, and even his schedule, it didn't discourage it, but he didn't encourage it. When meetings are separate, guys aren't together. He said it really wasn't set up, and now that's on us to build that.
Yeah, the coach creates the environment for that chemistry to develop, and it definitely sounds like that was not the case in Philadelphia. But the players have to accept responsibility for their role in the locker room to create that.
Jennings tackled by Kiko Alonso, the former Bill, who's acquired in the deal for LaShawn McCoy from Buffalo.
Yeah, one of the guys that people are talking about being specific to the Chip Kelly style of a team, and I don't think that that's true. He was the defensive rookie of the year with the Buffalo Bills, a completely different system. So it's just getting him back, getting him healthy. He's not back from that knee injury that he suffered that season. So the players that have come onto Philadelphia's roster are not specific to what Chip Kelly does. They're going to be able to find their way through any system that comes into place in Philadelphia next season.
Alonso played for Chip at Oregon. There's Will Tye down to the 40-yard line. Alonso, one of 6 Oregon alums on this Eagles roster.
And how many coaches do that? When coaches come in, they bring in guys from their previous team. When Jimmy Johnson came to the Dallas Cowboys, we had a lot of people from the University of Miami in our team early. It's the go-between, so the guys that are unfamiliar have somebody to go to ask questions about. It's normal to have guys, a number of guys, from your head coach's previous spot.
Giants will not get the snap away prior to the 2-minute warning. They trail the Eagles by 8. When we come back, it will be 3rd down and 2 for the Giants. Get apps, videos, and more at itunes.com/NFL. First play following the 2-minute warning, with the Eagles leading the Giants by 8. 3rd down and 2. Manning out of the shotgun, 3 receivers set. The handoff to Shane Vereen, and he stumbles forward and picks up a Giants 1st down.
The versatility of Shane Vereen in that situation as your 3rd down back, your hurry-up offense back. You've got the draw in play, screens in play. You can split him out, open the formation, take him out of the backfield. He can run wide receiver routes.
Manning on 1st down, complete to Vereen. Another Giants 1st down into Eagles territory for the Philadelphia 43, a gain of 13.
And this is probably the one other matchup that Philadelphia really has no answer for. And it's running back versus safeties and linebackers. Here it's corner E.J. Biggers, just a little stick move to the inside and then back out.
Manning on 1st down, it is Vereen again for the 3rd consecutive play. Another 1st down to the Eagles 30.
Yeah, when you looked at what happened to the Eagles last week against the Redskins, over 200 yards receiving, 3 touchdowns by the tight ends and the running backs. And, you know, Jordan Reed is a matchup issue. We've seen him a number of times, but the running backs were very effective against this Eagles defense. I think Shane Vereen gives you that other matchup. Obviously, Odell Beckham Jr. on the outside, but Shane Vereen on the inside.
Spent 4 seasons in New England. Won a Super Bowl last year. It is Vereen again. Stays on his feet and is down at the 15-yard line. So for the 4th straight play, Manning has gotten the ball into the hands of Vereen, and this time he gains 15.
And this is Bill Davis trying to match this up as best he can. He's not putting a linebacker or a safety on him. He's got E.J. Biggers, a corner, working man-to-man against Shane Vereen, and he is winning that battle.
Vereen gaining 45 yards on those last 4 plays. Manning to the end zone. He was looking for Beckham. E.J. Biggers defending.
Maybe a little miscommunication here on the outside. Let's see what Odell Beckham Jr. little stick and go. I think it's just good positioning by E.J. Biggers. Odell Beckham Jr. could not move him off that spot to get that double move going, that inside slant move and then back out over the top. Well played by E.J. Biggers.
Biggers starting for the injured Byron Maxwell. Beckham only 1 catch so far today. On 2nd and 10, it's Rashad Jennings. And Jennings takes it to the 5-yard line.
There you go. I mean, that's what we've been talking about here in the first half, getting into the red zone and kind of going heavy pass because you think that Philadelphia struggles with it. Well, your running game has been pretty productive here today.
A 1st down for Jennings. And now it is Jennings again as the Giants hurry back up to the line. And now we'll use their first timeout as we check in on what's coming up at the half.
Look, TB, I'm telling you, it's really simple. If the Patriots win, they win home field throughout the playoffs. Now, The Colts can knock Houston out of the AFC South if Indianapolis wins and Houston loses, but then also the Falcons have to win. Ravens,
whoa, just a second.
Dolphins.
Whoa.
Bills, they got to win too.
No. America, I know you're confused as I am. Let's just talk about this at halftime.
Sounds like a plan to me.
Holy cow. This reminds me of General Math or whatever.
So Torrey might have a couple of minutes to try and figure it out.
Well, I'm anxious to see because it does get confusing on this last weekend, and this has been as clear as we've seen the last few years, too.
Right, 10 teams already in. 2 spots up for grabs. 12th play of the drive for the Giants. On 2nd and goal, they keep it on the ground with Jennings. And he takes it down to the 1-yard line. And the Giants will use another timeout.
Yeah, a little penetration right there. Brandon Graham with an opportunity in the backfield, but Rashad Jennings has just been running very physical the last month here. Got the collision right there, unable to wrap up. He bounces off, gets down close to the goal line.
Jennings with 115 yards on the ground. That is a season high for a Giant, and he's done it in just under 2 quarters. So the Giants now with 1 timeout remaining. 3rd and goal from the 2. Twice they have been held to field goals in the red zone today. Beckham split wide to the left. Jennings in the backfield. Randall slot to the right. The give to Jennings, and he is in for a Giants touchdown.
Really like that play call right there. 3rd down, you've got 1 timeout left. Your entire playbook is open. Spread the defense out with the formation, and then inside handoff. You're running right at the big guy too, Fletcher Cox. Get him upfield. John Jerry with a nice job right there, going right at the Eagles' strength in that defense.
3rd rushing touchdown of the season for Rashad Jennings. So the Giants 4 trips inside the 20. First 2 field goals, and now 2 touchdowns. Brown, the extra point. Eagles' lead has been cut to 1. As we send you to Los Angeles for another game break, we check in on the Jets and the Bills with Mike Hill.
Yeah, Giants just got into the end zone. New York's other team trying to get into the playoffs. Brandon Marshall, 17-yard touchdown catch. 14th of the season, matching the franchise record. 13-7 Bills, though, in the second. Steelers loss or Jets win, and New York is in the playoffs.
All right, thanks very much, Mike. So the Jets in with a win, as Mike said, or a Steelers loss. Steelers need a win and a Jets loss. Jets facing their former head coach, Rex Ryan, and the Buffalo Bills. Rashad Jennings with a huge first half. 116 yards on the ground. And the most recent Giants touchdown.
Boy, what a tough loss that was last weekend for the Steelers against the Ravens. One of the shockers we saw last week, really puts them up against the wall trying to get into the playoffs.
With the Ravens using their 4th starting quarterback of the season in Ryan Mallett. Josh Huff is back deep. Short kick, scooped up at the 23-yard line by Ertz. With 9 seconds remaining in the first half. Eagles with interim head coach Pat Shurmur. If the last name sounds familiar, his late uncle Fritz, longtime NFL assistant, defensive coordinator under Mike Holmgren when the Green Bay Packers won Super Bowl 31. And how about Pat's son Kyle, a true freshman at Vanderbilt, who started 5 games at quarterback this season.
Yeah, proud Papa when we talked to him yesterday.
So Pat Shurmur's Eagles will take a 21-20 lead into the locker room at halftime here at MetLife.
Well, scoring in the first half, big plays by the Eagles. DeMarco Murray first, Jonathan Casillas late, Brandon Merriweather, terrible angle from the safety spot to fill there. Easy walk-in touchdown from 50-plus for DeMarco Murray. Then Darren Sproles gets around the right side. Will Tye Little shake and bake on the outside. He steps in for his third touchdown of the year. More on Rashad Jennings on that drive.
Eli Manning, first Manning to throw a touchdown pass on his birthday. Archie was born in May, Peyton in March. To Los Angeles, the Visa halftime report. Today's excitement is brought to you by Nissan. The Coughlin family on hand. Eagles led 14-3 after one. Giants with 2 touchdowns in the second quarter. 21-20 Philadelphia. Today's excitement brought to you by Nissan. Giants will get the ball first here in the second half. The first half numbers.
A couple of 100-yard performers just in the first half. Rashad Jennings, 17 carries for 116 yards. Zach Ertz, 4 targets, 4 receptions, 101 yards for the Philadelphia Eagles.
Eagles with a season-long 16-play, 6.5-minute drive. And from a Giants perspective, Darryl, as we welcome you into the broadcast booth, our Jay Glazer reporting earlier that this will be Tom Coughlin's last game as Giants head coach.
And that's a shame. I would not want to be John Mara or Steve Tisch today. I think this is going to be a very difficult decision. There's reasons why on both sides. I think is somebody that's looking at it where we need to move on. There's things you can look at, and I think probably the biggest thing are the close games that have been lost this season, some fourth quarter management issues, but the players stood up this week. They talked about Tom Coughlin. He's been a fantastic coach. We've enjoyed every opportunity we have had to spend with him. And the biggest question is, if you decide to go in that direction, who are you going to bring in? I just really think that Tom Coughlin is a great fit for this organization right now. There's a lot of other reasons why the Giants find themselves at 6-9 today that aren't really related to Tom Coughlin.
Rashad Jennings, the first down carry. We head downstairs to Laura.
I'm going to continue that Tom Coughlin conversation because I asked him, knowing that there was one half left and on the game, on the season, and possibly the career, what did you tell your team? And in typical Tom Coughlin fashion, he didn't say I or me. He told them 30 minutes left. Let's go empty the tank. 2 quarters left. Let's finish the season right, Kenny.
Will Tye continues to battle. Thanks, Laura. He picks up a first down. And Darryl, you made a great point. We've talked about this for years, and that is, if you do make a change, who do you have in mind as the replacement?
I think it's probably one of the most profound things that our colleague John Madden ever said during his illustrious career as a football coach and announcer. He referenced the San Francisco 49ers when they moved away from Steve Mariucci, and he said it was kind of an emotional firing, and they weren't ready for the next step, and it really cost them. It was 10 years of frustration for the Niners.
What a day for Rashad Jennings. He had a big first half, and now he is into Eagles territory with a gain of 20.
And this is really surprising because we spoke with Malcolm Jenkins, and he told us how important it was going to be to control the running game of the Giants. Their defense, if they can stop the run and get you into passing situations, stay ahead of those chains, their defense performs well. But if that running game gets going, they really struggle.
Here is Jennings again. And this time he's wrapped up by Bo Allen. Time for a game break with Mike Hill.
All right, guys, Pats and Dolphins. Of course, New England, that spot where players go to resurrect their career. Steven Jackson, the latest pupil. 2-yard score, making it 10-10 in the third. If the Pats win, they wrap up the number 1 seed in the AFC. Kenny, moves back to you.
All right, thanks very much, Mike. So the Patriots looking at home field with a win or a Denver loss. Second down and 8. Manning sets. Now he fires downfield looking for Hakeem Nicks with Eric Rowe, the rookie out of Utah, defending.
Yeah, good positioning by Eric Rowe in that situation. It's a deep ball, and he's running stride for stride. He's got his eyes back on the quarterback, trying to find the ball. That's very well played on the outside.
Nicks brought back by the Giants this season, originally a first-round pick by New York, spent last year in Indianapolis. We're down at 8. Manning steps up. Now he throws, complete to Ruben Randall, but not enough for a first down. He's tackled at the 39-yard line by Malcolm Jenkins, so it will be 4th down and 3, and Tom Coughlin will send out the punting unit.
He's going to play it straight like Tom Coughlin plays it. Getting back to that wide receiver situation, it's probably been one of the big struggles for the Giants this year, that complimentary wide receiver to go with Odell Beckham Jr. You know, preseason, you're thinking Victor Cruz, Odell Beckham Jr., Ruben Randall. That was going to be a dynamic passing group, and it just never panned out for the Giants.
Cruz injured in the game in Philadelphia last year, missed the entire season as Wings punt stays out of the end zone and will be down inside the 5. There's the golf shot celebration from the Aussie. Eli and the Giants trail by 1.
Today's game is sponsored by Southwest. Transparency, low fares, nothing to hide. By Burger King. Now get 10 chicken nuggets for $1.49 only at BK. By Geico. 15 minutes could save you 15% or more on car insurance. And by Bud Light, the official beer sponsor of the NFL.
Eagles have enjoyed playing here at MetLife. 4-1 against the Giants. And they beat the Jets earlier this season. Back in late September, 24-17. Eagles start from their 3-yard line. And Matthews lost the football. And it's recovered by Landon Collins. But Ryan Matthews was ruled down.
The ruling on the field is the runner was down by contact. 2nd down, Philadelphia. The ruling is down by contact, 2nd down, Philadelphia.
Absolutely contact, forearm is down.
Tom Coughlin has thrown the challenge flag. Tom got it out in time.
Yeah, he's not going to make that.
New York Giants are challenging the ruling on the field of the runner down by contact. Timeout.
Unfortunately, I think he's going to wish he had trouble getting that out there.
Well, Gene Steratore will take a look.
After review, the ruling on the field is confirmed. The runner's forearm lands down. It's down by contact. The New York Giants are charged with their first timeout of the half.
Easy challenge here. Trevin Wade comes in and makes contact right there. The only thing I could think of is maybe Tom Coughlin thought the ball was loose at that point, but watch this shot from the backside. You're going to see that Ryan Matthews has complete control of that ball all the way to the ground when that forearm hits.
So the Giants lose the challenge, lose the timeout, 2nd down and 3. Off the fake to Matthews, catch is made by Ertz for an Eagles first down, his 5th reception today. And Brandon Merriweather is shaken up. Giants very thin at the safety position.
Again, here's the way that the Eagles are stressing you now. It's the play action pass or the give to the running back. Zach Ertz working to the outside. Brandon Merriweather's leg gets pinned underneath here. You had a lot of players from the Giants up right away motioning for the training staff to get onto the field. But early on in Chip Kelly's arrival in Philadelphia, it was the zone read, it was the quarterback, the running back that kind of puts you in those stress spots. Now it's the play action. Are we handing it off? And if not, Sam Bradford's pulling it out and throwing it into the middle of the field.
Today's game is sponsored by the Ford F-150. Every other truck is history.
The injured Giant Brandon Merriweather replaced by Tremaine McBride. Bradford looking to throw on first down. Down he goes back at the 25-yard line. It is Robert Ayers Jr.
He continues that role you talked about, Kenny. Coming from the opposite side, working against Jason Peters. Good coverage by the Giants secondary. Forces Sam Bradford to hold it. Gives the defensive line of the Giants the opportunity for the sack.
That's 9.5 for Ayers Jr. Giants only have 23 sacks on the season. Third fewest in the league. Second down and 16 as they set up the screen for Darren Sproles. And Sproles will take it all the way out to the 40-yard line. Tackled a yard shy of the marker. So it will be third down and 1 after the 14-yard pickup by Sproles.
A good counter right there after you have the big pass rush on the previous play. Let's use that against the Giants defense. Lure them into coming up the field and slip Darren Sproles out there.
Marco Murray checks in that 54-yard touchdown run. His 3 other carries, -5 yards. And this is Murray, and he will pick up the first down. He dives ahead out to the 43-yard line.
Nice job by Nelson Aguilar coming in motion. This is a design play to bait you to go inside. Watch, Trevin Wade's going down hard inside. You get the kind of that crackback block from the outside.
New set of downs for the Eagles. It's Murray again. And Murray lost the football at the end of the play. And the Giants recover.
The ruling on the field is a fumble recovered by the New York Giants. First down.
It was an issue he struggled with in Dallas a little bit with the fumbling. Some big plays, some tough physical running, but you had to balance that with the turnover. It is out before he is on the ground. Jasper Brinkley. Boy, he has really played well with the opportunity to get into that starting lineup. Now for clear recovery. Looks like it was George Selvey, 93.
So Brinkley comes up with the strip. Second time Murray has fumbled this season. It is the second Philadelphia turnover, so the Giants defense coming up with a sack and a forced fumble on that Philadelphia possession.
Yeah, coming into the game, second most turnovers in the NFL for the Philadelphia Eagles.
So the Giants take over at the Eagles 45. Trailing by 1. Play action on first down. Manning fires downfield. Ruben Randall has it. Touchdown. 45 yards.
Well, we saw the aggressive play call on the first turnover with the deep into Ruben Randall. This one was pick your poison. He's got Ruben Randall, who's coming into the middle of the field. He also had Odell Beckham Jr., who had gotten beyond his defender. He had either or in this situation. Starting from the outside, going to push it in and then go vertical. Eli Manning has his choice. Odell Beckham Jr. is in the same spot on the other hash, running behind his defender.
8th touchdown of the season for Randall. He has reached the end zone in 4 consecutive games. Brown, the extra point. So for the second time, Giants capitalize, scoring a touchdown following an Eagles turnover. Murray stripped by Brinkley. On the next play, it's Eli Manning to Ruben Randall. Giants by 6. First lead of the game for the Giants following the Ruben Randall touchdown. Manning now with a career-high 35. That's one shy of the franchise record set back in 1963 by Y.A. Tittle. We mentioned earlier, Eli, the first Manning with a touchdown pass on his birthday. The all-time leader, Warren Moon, threw 8 TDs on his birthday, November 18th.
Is that an official NFL stat? Birthday touchdowns?
Now it is.
You creating something here?
It has become official today. So Eli with touchdown passes to Will Tye and Ruben Randall, both following Eagle turnovers.
I like the play call. I like the aggressive play calls after the turnovers by Ben McAdoo. And Eli's really taken that next step in the second year in that system. You know, number one, Ben McAdoo, when he came in, said the first thing we had to do, you know, we had to respect the ball a little bit more. We had to take care of it a little bit better. Eli's done a great job reducing the number of interceptions. Everything else is starting to click. It was a big change for him. There was footwork and eyes on the field to help you through your progressions, but he's really starting to hit his stride with this offense earlier this season, and it's paid off with a great year for him.
There's DeMarco Murray as the Eagles go right back to Murray after he was stripped of the football on his last carry.
I like that play call by Pat Shurmur as well. You know, nobody feels worse than DeMarco Murray for putting that football on the ground, and let's get him back out there, get his confidence right back.
Pat Shurmur, the interim head coach after the firing of Chip Kelly on Tuesday night. Giants without safety Brandon Merriweather, out with a knee sprain. His return is questionable. Giants lost linebacker Wade Unga to a concussion. He will not return. Second down and 10.
And Craig Dahl was out at the beginning of the game, so we have Tremaine McBride, a corner, playing safety right now.
Right, Dahl and Cooper Taylor. This is Ernst, and he is chased down by the combination of Brinkley and Wade.
Asked Steve Spagnuolo about Jasper Brinkley, and he's like, you know what, I wish we could have gotten him here a little bit sooner. It's taken him a while to kind of completely understand what we're doing from a defensive standpoint. But boy, once that light went on, he has been playing really, really well for the Giants. Probably one of their bright spots on the defensive side of the ball this season.
Third down and 7. Eagles must get to the 30 for a first down. Bradford moving to his right. He throws, and it's batted away from Jordan Matthews by Trevin Wade. Another good defensive play.
You just kind of feel the emotion in the stadium. You can see the spark by the players, the end of that first half for the Giants, and then coming back out again here to start the second half. Looks like Cullen Jenkins slow to get up for the Giants. This is the Giants. I mean, they have been devastated by injury. They lead the NFL. They've got 21 guys on IR this season,
including a number of key players on the defensive side. As we head to Los Angeles, check in with Mike Hill. Mike.
Hey guys, Bengals with a chance to get the second seed in the AFC, taking on Baltimore. A.J. McCarron to A.J. Green, 5-yard score, his 10th of the season, making it 14-9 Bengals. Bengals win, Broncos lost, and the Bengals get a first-round bye for the first time since 1988.
All right, thanks very much, Mike. Cullen Jenkins heads to the sidelines. Odell Beckham Jr. back deep, and he's getting the crowd fired up.
Having a tough time getting him involved in the passing game. We'll see if he can do something here as the punt returner.
Only one catch today for Beckham in his return. End-over-end kick. And it's taken on a bounce by Beckham. And he is tackled at the 39-yard line by Trey Burton. So Eli Manning and the Giants offense back on the field. They've scored on 5 of their last 6 possessions, including 4 straight earlier for the first time this season. 2 field goals, 2 touchdowns.
That was about the only thing they were doing wrong offensively early in this game. They're getting down in the red zone, bogging down, having to settle for field goals. But it's been a nice job of the complementary football. Special teams backing up Philadelphia, forcing them into bad field position. Defense with some takeaways today, and the offense capitalizing on those.
Giants with 3 wide receivers. They start from the 39-yard line, and Andre Williams gains 5 out to the 44 midway through the third quarter, with the Giants leading by 6 in what could be Tom Coughlin's last game as Giants head coach. Eli Manning's numbers: touchdown passes to Will Tye and Reuben Randall. Huge day for Rashad Jennings, best by a Giant on the ground this season. Second down and 5. Manning to the outside. It's Beckham. Spun around by E.J. Biggers. That's his second catch, and he picks up a Giants first down.
Again, the way he works the sideline, the strength that he has in his grip. Fun guy to watch, exciting guy to watch. I'm glad to hear he's learned from what happened in that Carolina game. He's still going to be emotional. He's still going to walk that line, but I think he understands how much he hurt his team last week.
On the toss, it's Williams. And Tom Coughlin told us yesterday with regards to Odell Beckham Jr., he said, I hope he plays just like he played before. I don't want to take anything away from him, the excitement and the big play potential.
The funny thing was he brings something to the game that no other player brings, and that's not just from the skill standpoint, it's also from that emotional standpoint. Ben McAdoo saying he's salty. He walks that line. We want him to continue to do that, but he just can't make those mistakes where all of a sudden we've got penalties.
Right, he said we have to keep the flags in the pockets of the officials. Williams to the 41. It will be 3rd down and 2.
Everybody having a little bit of success today running the football against this Eagles defense. Ben McAdoo continuing to kind of give everybody their opportunity for reps as running backs. Obviously, Rashad Jennings, the lead guy today, but Andre Williams having a little bit of success.
Giants with a season high, 171 rushing yards today. Previous high, 158. Movement, penalty markers.
Gene Steratore in the white hat. For a while there, he was stepped away from the other officials as they tried to work through it, waiting for them to sort it out. And then he kind of walked in. All right, what's taking so long? You need some help here?
False start. Offense, number 13. 5-yard penalty, 3rd down.
It's on Beckham.
This is the other one. Everybody talks about, do we know what a catch is anymore? I'm trying to figure out if I know what neutral zone infraction and false start is anymore.
Tom Coughlin trying to figure it out as well. 3rd down and 7. Giants must get to the 39. And they do. It's Beckham.
It's one of the things that everybody talks about when, hey, our defense is not getting to the quarterback. We need to blitz more. Well, when you blitz more, that means you have to play man. And you don't want to be playing man in that situation where you get Odell Beckham Jr. matched up against your linebacker level.
Beckham gained 24 yards.
Here it comes.
From the Eagles, 22 on 1st down, Jennings. 8 of 4. So Odell Beckham Jr. with 3 catches today, 43 yards, and he has surpassed our colleague Randy Moss, most receiving yards all time over players' first 2 seasons.
It's impressive. I mean, he's got just about every meaningful record for a wide receiver when you talk about those first 2 seasons.
Played in only 12 games last year, caught 91 passes, went to the Pro Bowl as a rookie. He's going again in his 2nd season. 2nd down and 6. Manning throws, end zone, broken up. There is a flag. DJ Biggers on the coverage. It's against the Eagles.
Prior to the pass, holding, defense, number 38. 5-yard penalty, automatic, 1st down.
Grabbed hold of the jersey around the right shoulder area of Odell Beckham Jr. So with under 4 minutes to play, 3rd quarter, Giants leading by 6. 1st and 10 from the Philadelphia 14.
Hey, 5-9! Hey, 5-3!
Empty backfield, Vereen slot to the right. Manning hit as he throws, and it is picked off. And taken back by Walter Thurman, the former Giant. Looking behind him, but he will not be caught. So Thurman takes it all the way for an Eagles touchdown after Manning was hit by Connor Barwin And the Eagles are on the board once again as they have tied the score.
Boy, Eric Flowers had all his weight forward, head forward. That was easy for Connor Barwin to get around him. And this is going to be kind of lost on this play. But Miles White, with just an incredible effort to try and make this tackle, he came from a long way. Comes up just a little bit short on Walter Thurman. I like the idea of trying to force the turnover as you're getting close to the goal line.
Thurman returns it 83 yards for his second career touchdown. He played in 2 games for the Giants last season. So Philadelphia with a defensive score. They lead by 1. Well, to add insult to the interception, that's the 200th pick of Eli Manning in his illustrious career, and it was returned 83 yards by his former teammate, Walter Thurman.
How many interceptions on his birthday? You don't have that one ready?
2.
Never doubted you.
2 touchdowns, 2 picks.
Well, Connor Barwin forces the interception. Watch right here. Eric Flowers way forward in his stance. Watch where his head is way forward. Reaches out for him. That makes it easy for him to get around the corner. Impacts the throw. Walter Thurman aggressive at the catch point. Shane Vereen kind of waited a little bit there, allowed him to get the first break on the ball. And there's Miles White hustling. I thought he was going to pull a Don Beebe for us and knock that ball loose before he got the touchdown.
Don Beebe and your former teammate, Leon Lett. So the Giants back to work, now trailing by 1. On first down, it's Jennings up the middle, big hole. And Rashad Jennings has a Giants first down out to the 35, gain of 15.
Well, I tell you what, this has been impressive by the New York Giants. Take advantage of this. Philadelphia has struggled. Tampa Bay roughed them up a couple of weeks ago in the run game. Arizona's roughed them up in the run game.
It's Jennings again. Pushing the pile out to the 40 for a gain of 5.
You mentioned this is a season high for the Giants this afternoon. 100 yards more rushing today for the New York Giants.
And Jennings has 163. His career high is 176.
Hey, what bingo? 50.
Manning on 2nd and 5. It's Hakeem Nicks. And Nicks has a first down. Chris Maragos makes the tackle after a gain of 19.
Yeah, nice play design right here. You're going to fake the little screen outside to Ben Edwards. He pops back, but Hakeem Nicks continues to go down the field, kind of drop him in coverage a little bit, allows Eli Manning to get that in there in a tight spot.
2 minutes remaining, 3rd quarter. 1st and 10 from the Eagles' 41. This is Jennings. By the way, on that completion to Nicks, Manning sets new franchise records for attempts and completions in one season. He held the prior marks. Second down and 10. Jennings set up to the right of Eli Manning. Over the middle, Jennings unable to hang on as we head west to Los Angeles. And Mike Hill. Mike.
Hey guys, field goals may not be exciting, but they're important when the 6th seed is up for grabs in the AFC. Pittsburgh and Cleveland, Chris Boswell giving the Steelers a 17-9 lead with a 39-yard field goal. And in Buffalo, Diane Carpenter giving the Bills a 19-10 lead over the Jets. If this holds up, the Jets are out and the Steelers are in.
All right, thanks, Mike. So Rex Ryan's Bills with a 9-point lead over the Jets who need a win or a Steelers loss. up by Kiko Alonso at the 38-yard line, and Tom Coughlin will send out his punting unit.
Well, in a 3rd and 10, and you run the ball, and it was funny because Eli Manning took about 3 steps back and was looking opposite of the play like, aye.
So Brad Wing out to punt it away. Darren Sproles deep for the Eagles. Once again, Giants will pin the Eagles deep. Good job by Wing. Placing it inside the 10. Well, all 6 playoff spots are set in the NFC, but how about the NFC wildcard teams since 2010? None from the NFC East.
Yeah, just the division winner has been able to qualify for the playoffs, and that shows you that balance has kind of been out of sync now for 5 years, 6 years. In the NFC East, used to be very competitive top to bottom with records that would qualify for the playoff, but we've been having that one team pop up to the top to take control of the division over the last 6 years.
No repeat champion for 11 years in the NFC East. Redskins winning the division with their victory over the Eagles last Saturday night. As Ryan Matthews or Barnard gains a yard on first down. Time winding down in this 3rd quarter from MetLife Stadium. Giants took a 27-21 lead. And then the Eagles scoring a defensive touchdown. The 83-yard interception return by Walter Thurman after Manning was hit by Connor Barwin. So we head to the 4th. Teams will head down to the other end. The Philadelphia Eagles leading the New York Giants by 1. What's at stake today? Well, the loser of this game will head to London to face the Rams next season, while the winner today will have to head out to Seattle. The NFL scheduling formula, team that finishes in 2nd place in the East, 2nd place in the West will face each other 3rd against 3rd. So Seattle locked into 2nd, Rams into 3rd place in the West. Winner to Seattle, loser to London.
Yeah, we all know how hard it is to play in Seattle. So congratulations, you won, and you're going to Seattle.
Loser goes to London and gets a better draft pick.
Sam Bradford, here it is again. The run or play action. That's where the stress comes from. Jason Pierre-Paul just a step away. Impressive that Sam Bradford got that completed.
And now he hands it off to Barnard on first down, and he gains 8.
And everybody getting an opportunity in the Eagle backfield as well. And Sam Bradford continuing a nice little run here down the stretch late in the season. DeMarco Murray with that big touchdown run, and Zach Ertz, he's been a matchup issue for the Giants all afternoon.
Ertz had a 60-yard reception earlier, which led to the Sproles touchdown. This is Barner once again, another one of those University of Oregon products. Broke in with the Carolina Panthers 2 years ago. Once rushed for 321 yards in a game, did Barner against USC. 3rd down and 1. Bradford's pass is caught by Aguilar, speaking of USC, and he has a Philadelphia first down out to the 40. Eagles following the firing of Chip Kelly on Tuesday night, playing their season finale for interim head coach Pat Shurmur. They already interviewed their running backs coach Deuce Staley on Friday for the head coaching position.
One of the reasons that Jeff Lurie cited why he made that decision on Tuesday evening, that was one of the reasons to get a head start on the possible candidates that were out there.
From the 39, it's Murray. And DeMarco Murray gains 4. Out to the 43. There certainly will be a lot to talk about over the next couple of days as we keep an eye around the league on the various moves and coaching changes. There's Deuce, the former great Philadelphia running back.
Yeah, being a part of the Eagles staff, they were able to interview him before the season ends. Everybody else will be open for interviews after the season has finished. So that will start next week on the infamous Black Monday.
Black Monday tomorrow in the NFL, 2nd and 6. It is Murray. Not much, gains a yard. Brinkley the tackle, 3rd down and 5.
But we've talked a lot about the negative about that decision to move away from Chip Kelly, but I thought it was interesting sitting down with Pat Shurmur, the things that he talked about. You know, he really enjoyed his 3 years with Chip Kelly. He enjoyed thinking outside the box. We mentioned his background in Green Bay. That's a very wordy West Coast system, and he learned a lot from Chip Kelly. You know, shorten down that verbiage, a lot more control at the line of scrimmage like we're seeing right here with Sam Bradford. So he walked away having gained some knowledge and perspective on offensive football.
West Coast for 10 years under Andy Reid as Brent Selleck pulls it in for an Eagles first down with Casillas defending.
That's a heck of a play by Brent Selleck because Jonathan Casillas is in pretty good position in coverage and then makes a good play on the ball right at the point of the catch. Watch right there. He's got his hand on it as well.
24-yard completion. Ninth play of the drive for the Eagles. They had a season-long 16-play drive earlier, which lasted nearly 6.5 minutes. Also a season-long. Bradford with time. He throws, and the catch is made by the 3rd-string tight end, Trey Burton, at the Giants' 27. Gain of 5 for Burton. Second down and 5 with 11 minutes remaining. Pierre-Paul on the sidelines. Giants lost Brandon Merriweather earlier. Wani Unga as well from their defense. Bradford on second down on the slant. It's Ertz. Zach Ertz with his 7th catch. And he has set a new career high for the 2nd consecutive week in yardage.
He's going to run the quick flat. You have the slant coming in. You see how close those coverages cross at that point.
7 receptions for 129. He had 122 last week against the Redskins. On 3rd and 1, it is Barner, and he picks up an Eagles first down.
This has been a nice drive right here by the Philadelphia Eagles. You mentioned they had their longest drive of the season by time, by plays earlier in this game. You wonder if that is a little bit of the spin that Pat Shurmur is kind of putting on this system.
12th play of this drive. And it will be taken all the way down to the 2 by Aguilar.
They got a big collision at the end of this.
Tremaine McBride is the injured Giant.
Coming from the outside. Jordan Matthews releases out. What a quick, decisive north-south move right there. And then kind of side helmet to side helmet contact right there. Nelson Aguilar and Tremaine McBride.
Today's game is sponsored by Nissan. Innovation that excites. By Geico. 15 minutes could save you 15% or more on car insurance. And by Colonel Sanders Kentucky Fried Chicken. It's still finger-licking good.
You weren't out there shooting this footage, were you?
I was just going to ask you, can you walk? Is that like a catwalk? Did you walk that bridge with a camera?
I hope not.
I can't do that. I'm afraid of heights. I can't, and I'm having a little bit of trouble right now.
Well, there's Tremaine McBride. He heads back to the Giants locker room following the collision with Nelson Aguilar. First and goal for the Eagles from the Giants 3. Bradford 7 for 7 on this drive to the end zone, make it 8 for 8. Second touchdown today for Jordan Matthews.
Yeah, it's just a matter of attrition right now. There's so many injuries in this Giants secondary. Jaron Hosley's in now trying to cover. The one guy you can't allow to beat you is Jordan Matthews. He's one of your red flag guys at this point in the field. Jordan Matthews and Zach Ertz. That's an easy throw catch for Sam Bradford. But Craig Dahl is out before the game starts, along with Cooper Taylor. Then Brandon Merriweather goes out, so we're going to bring Tremaine McBride from corner, move him to safety. He gets hurt in the previous play with the collision with Nelson Aguilar. So very, very thin in the Giants secondary.
For the Eagles, it's their 4th drive today of at least 80 yards. Bradford finds Matthews in the end zone for the 2nd time. Eagles by 8. Sam Bradford perfect on the drive. Eagles go 13 plays, 91 yards.
You know, one of the things that Chip Kelly brought with him to the NFL is Jordan Matthews working out of the slot. I remember early on in his rookie season, we had a Philadelphia game, and we talked to him about that, and he says, well, why do I have to put a smaller guy into the slot? You know, I've got a smaller nickel back playing that position defensively. I'm going to put a big guy in there and see if I can get a matchup problem. So it's some of the things that were revolutionary about Chip Kelly. You know, they're going to find their place in the NFL.
So the Eagles lead by 8. Giants will go back to work from their 20-yard line in what could be Tom Coughlin's final quarter as Giants head coach, as reported by Jay Glazer earlier.
And playing it true to form. We saw them, you know, run the ball on 3rd and 10, punt the ball down. We saw them not go for it on a 4th down around the 35, punt the ball, create field position instead. But the Eagles have just seized all the momentum. We talked about that opening scoring drive that the Giants had here in the 2nd half. That interception return for the touchdown by Walter Thurman really kind of took the life out of this facility, and really the Giants offense has been different since that play too.
2nd down and 10. Rashad Jennings. Jennings out to the 25. So 3rd down and 5 coming up for Eli Manning and the Giants. Eli and Tom Coughlin have won 2 Super Bowls together, 183 consecutive starts. Coughlin took over in 2004. The Giants made the draft day deal for Eli Manning, who was the 1st overall pick by San Diego. They have been together right from the start. 3rd down and 5. Manning rolling to his right. Now he throws, and the catch is made by Will Tye for a Giants 1st down out of the 43.
Baby Gates. I tell you what, it's been fun to watch him mature. You know, read an article about him this year, you know, what he plans to do in the offseason. He wants to be able to get a little bit faster. He creates some more separation, but it's been fun watching him develop during the course of this season.
Here's Shane Vereen, who gains 3. When you talk about the 12 years that Manning and Coughlin have spent together, there's only one other active player aside from Eli Manning who has played at least 12 years for only one head coach, and that's Tom Brady.
Absolutely, and what a great rivalry that became with all those meaningful games in the Super Bowl.
Second and 7, Manning to the outside. It's Ruben Randall, and he has another Giants 1st down. With all the talk surrounding Tom Coughlin, will he retire? Will the Giants ownership make a move? There's one other aspect to it that not many people have really talked about in the media. If Giants management decides to make a change, would Tom Coughlin listen to potential offers from other teams?
I have not seen anything that indicates he is ready to retire. You saw the great gathering of his family. You know, at some point you're going to want to spend time with those 11 grandchildren and not be tied to the office and to the rigors of the NFL season. But there was a great point made today. If the Giants were to go in a different direction and he does want to continue to coach, God, the Cleveland Browns, there's some franchises out there that Tom Coughlin would be the perfect candidate to establish a foundation to build off of.
He's 69 years of age, but he's a young 69.
Yeah, and then maybe it's not a head coaching capacity. Maybe it's a consulting type job. You know, we heard Bill Polian rumored to be going back to Buffalo to help out with the Bills.
Beckham attempted to make the adjustment, unable to make the catch.
Don't see that very often. Working out of the slot, slant to the inside. Now the corner route, and if it's anywhere near Odell Beckham Jr., he's usually coming up with it.
Third down and 5 from the Philadelphia 41. Manning rolling right. He throws, and it's Beckham for a Giants first down. To the Eagles 33.
That's a good sign right there, getting up. There's that spark. And you know, Tom Coughlin mentioned it. You know, he brings an athleticism to the wide receiver position that's not matched. Ben McAdoo saying the same thing. But the one thing that he also does is he brings that emotional element. And just getting that and being able to keep it contained during the course of the season.
Manning to the outside, it's Nix. And speaking of the wide receiver position, not only did Tom Coughlin win 2 Super Bowl rings as head coach of the Giants, he was their wide receivers coach under Bill Parcells, Super Bowl 25. His first NFL job was in Philadelphia as the Eagles wide receivers coach back in 84, 85 under Marion Campbell, who ironically was let go with the Eagles at 6-9 in 85, same record Philadelphia had this year at the time of Jim Kelly's firing, as Jennings is met immediately by Brandon Graham.
Brandon Graham, and we've mentioned Fletcher Cox this afternoon. Brandon Graham, another guy, beats Will Tye to the inside immediately in the backfield to make the hit on Rashad Jennings. Perfect form tackle.
Giants trail by 8, under 5 minutes remaining, third down and 7. Manning steps up, fires, double coverage on Randall. Walter Thurman and Malcolm Jenkins defending.
Yeah, and protection starting to break down around Eli Manning. He's got to step up right there. There's Fletcher Cox, Vinnie Curry all around him as he releases the ball. And again, you're getting some boos right here, but this is how Tom Coughlin plays the game. He hasn't deviated from anything in his philosophy during the course of the week. He's not going to do it during the game here this afternoon. He's going to play it out straight the way he always does. We've seen him punt in situations like this, trying to generate better field position.
Right, you would either need a touchdown or a 2-point conversion, or a field goal, then a touchdown, and you wouldn't have to worry about the 2-point conversion. Josh Brown connects. 4.5 to play here at MetLife. Eagles by 5.
Today's game is sponsored by Domino's. Order online and track your order.
Kenny Albert, Darryl Johnston, Laura Oakman back at MetLife. The battle for the AFC wild card. Under 9 minutes remaining in Orchard Park. Bills with a 2-point lead on the Jets, who are in with a win. But it will be the Steelers into the postseason with a win and a Jets loss. Both of these teams eliminated from postseason contention last week when the Redskins defeated the Eagles, who lead the Giants by 5. Most Giant fans would agree with that sentiment.
Absolutely. Include me.
12 seasons, 2 Super Bowl titles. They would take that in any other NFL city except perhaps Foxborough.
Yeah, exactly. That was the funny thing, getting ready for the game, reading all the things that have transpired, and you know, they've only got 1 playoff appearance in the last 7 years. It just happens to be a Super Bowl championship.
Super Bowl 42, Super Bowl 46. Under 4 minutes to play. Second down and 1. New set of downs for the Eagles. Marco Murray out to the 35-yard line. Tom Coughlin elected to kick the field goal, down by 8. So the Giants need a stop from their defense.
Well, he's been playing complimentary football all afternoon. He's kicked it in, punted in. His guys have gone down and recovered inside the 10, inside the 5-yard line. Forced Philadelphia to move on a long field. His offense has responded to the turnovers generated by the defense. So I think right now his thought process on that last series, take the field goal, get the ball back, and let's win this thing.
Bradford to Matthews. Jordan Matthews, who has scored a couple of touchdowns today. Gain of 6 out to the 41. Under 3 minutes to play.
Big hit at the end of this. Robert Ayers dropping out as a rusher downfield in coverage, puts a big hit on Jordan Matthews.
Giants have 2 timeouts. Remember, they lost a challenge back in the 3rd quarter.
This is another element right now that don't remember seeing a lot with Chip Kelly, but kind of that collegiate style at the line of scrimmage. Everybody turning and looking towards the sideline.
Play clock is at 2. And a timeout was taken by the Eagles prior to the snap.
First charge timeout, Philadelphia. 30-second timeout.
How about Pat Sherman? Does he get a shot either in Philadelphia or elsewhere?
Well, I think that he's going to be definitely one of the people that Jeff Lurie brings in to take a look at. And yeah, we're going to have some new faces, obviously, potentially here. And it's been up and down, you know, throughout the last decade or so in the NFC East. 11 years without a back-to-back winner.
Yep, without a repeat champ in the division. Dallas won the division last year. Philadelphia in 2013. Pass is caught for a first down. What a day Ertz has had. And he is in Giants territory. 14 yards.
Yeah, that might be one of the things in the philosophy, the way that Tom Coughlin is playing out this game. Your injuries in the secondary, you're having a really difficult time, and you have had a difficult time all afternoon matching up with Zach Ertz and Jordan Matthews.
Ertz now with 9 receptions. He's caught all 9 balls thrown his way. Career high 152 yards for the 3rd-year tight end out of Stanford.
Well, Philadelphia, Pat Shurmur and his group has done a nice job. You knew Odell Beckham Jr. coming back. You saw what that Giant offense was like against Minnesota without him. You can't let him beat you. They've done a nice job taking Odell Beckham Jr. out of the game. The other side, it was Jordan Matthews and Zach Ertz, and the Giants have struggled to have that matchup work in their favor all afternoon.
Giants using their 2nd timeout. They have 1 remaining. Bradford has completed his last 11 pass attempts. Keep it on the ground with Murray. Murray to the Giants 41. And that will take us to the 2-minute warning with the Eagles on the move, leading the Giants by 5. A day in the life of Tom Coughlin.
Well, if this is the last day for Tom Coughlin, it's been an honor and a privilege for us to be a part. And here's the big play in the game right here. This is just classic vintage Tom Coughlin. That's the interception return for a touchdown. The play impacted by Connor Barrow and Walter Thurman with the interception. The Giants at 27-21 looking to go in and get more points. The game is flipped, and the Giants haven't been able to get back on top since that point.
They have 1 timeout remaining. 2nd down and 6 for the Eagles. And again, the Eagles turn and look towards the sideline, as you pointed out.
A little bit more prominent here in the 2nd half.
Bradford on 2nd down, and a nice tackle made by Jasper Brinkley on DeMarco Murray. And now the Giants use their final timeout.
You walk up into the blitz, into that front, Jasper Brinkley. Sometimes you can get caught in the wash. That's a nice job finding your way through.
So now the Giants are out of timeouts. It will be a 3rd down and 8 for the Eagles.
And if you Steve Spagnuolo, I mean, everybody, you've got to have everybody in that secondary. Where's 86? Where's 81? You know, let's make sure that neither one of those two guys beats us on this 3rd down conversion.
If the Eagles pick up a 1st down, they will be able to run out the clock.
They are side by side. You've got trips to the right. They're the number 2, number 3 receivers coming in from the top of your screen.
Bradford on 3rd down, off the hand of Riley Cooper, so the clock will stop by virtue of the incomplete pass, and the Giants will get the ball back.
Well, with the play of the game, Steve Spagnuolo is going to bring pressure, sends 2 linebackers and the safety. Landon Collins comes free. Here's Riley Cooper down on the bottom, one-on-one with Prince Amukamara. They can't make the connection.
If the Eagles ran the ball, even if they did not pick up the 1st down, they would have been able to run the clock down to about a minute 10.
Maybe the Giants will benefit from poor management at the end of the game for the first time this year.
Beckham back deep. And now the Eagles use a timeout, their 2nd. So an opportunity for Tom Coughlin's Giants. They will get the ball back following the punt. Eagles throw a pass on 3rd down, stops the clock at a minute 51.
Yeah, but Tom Coughlin has kind of played it perfectly to this point. He elected to go for the field goal on the last drive. Couple of boo birds here at the stadium wanted him to go for it on 4th down. It gives you the opportunity on this possession. Have your defense go out, get a stop, give you some time on the clock to come back, get your offense on the field, go down, and win this game. So he has played it true to Tom Coughlin style all afternoon. He trusted his team to play good complementary football. Let's see if they reward him with a victory here.
Each of those 2 punts, which pin the Eagles deep, goes for the field goal. Instead of the touchdown, Beckham lets it go.
I tell you what, that's a big play right there that Philadelphia did not have somebody in position to make that down punt.
We head to Los Angeles. Mike Hill. Mike.
You know, we got that battle for the 6th seed in the AFC. Steelers, Jets up for grabs to get it. First in Cleveland, Pittsburgh getting on the board. Marcus Wheaton, 8-yard touchdown catch from Ben Roethlisberger. It's 28-12 in the 4th there. Meanwhile, in Buffalo, Dan Carpenter's 42-yarder gives the Bills a 22-17 lead. Jets lose, Steelers win. Pittsburgh is the 6th seed.
All right, thanks, Mike. Exciting stuff on this final day of the regular season. And now Eli Manning on his 35th birthday, and the Giants with a minute 41 remaining and no timeouts. Tom Coughlin was out on the field a moment ago for a discussion with the officials.
Wonder if he was looking for a little bit of
Game
time.
clock operator, please set the game clock to 1 minute, 43 seconds. That was the time when the ball landed in the end zone. 1 minute 43. Thank you.
Coughlin bargains for 2 extra seconds, and he gets it from Gene Steratore.
We've talked about how close these games are. The situations like this, 2 seconds could prove to be extremely valuable.
All right, here we go. Giants start from their 20-yard line with no timeouts, trailing by 5. Manning over the middle. It's Shane Vereen. He picks up 11 and a Giants 1st down. Clock continues to run. Down to a minute 30. Manning getting his offensive mates lined up correctly. It is Vereen again. Gain of 6 to the 37.
Eagles will be content to allow that matchup to happen as long as he stays in bounds.
Manning fires downfield, and a diving attempt is made by Hakeem Nicks.
Oh, just that little window in between this coverage. Denzel Rice turns and lets him go. Safety help is going to get there late, and Eli Manning just misses that one. Oh, Hakeem Nicks has got to make that. Eli Manning did not just miss that one. Hakeem Nicks missed making a big play.
Third down and 3 as we welcome a new audience with the Eagles leading the Giants by 5. Pass is incomplete, intended for Vereen. 58 seconds remaining. And now the Giants facing a 4th down and 3. Eagles lead 35-30. Under a minute to play. Giants need to pick up a 1st down, and Odell Beckham reaches across and has the first.
Smart, heady play.
Now Manning will spike it with 43 seconds in what could be Tom Coughlin's last game as Giants head coach. Eagles playing under their interim head coach, Pat Shurmur, who replaced Chip Kelly, relieved of his duties on Tuesday night.
This has been good 2-minute defense by the Philadelphia Eagles. They're protecting the perimeter. They're forcing Eli Manning to dump it down inside in the middle of the field.
2nd down and 10 following the spike. Manning under pressure, and he throws it into the ground. Marcus Smith in Manning's face.
And 34 Shane Vereen was in the area. That's why there was no intentional grounding called by that.
Down to 38 seconds. Giants need a touchdown. Manning steps up on 3rd down, and he was under pressure again, and his pass is short. It was intended for Miles White, so another 4th down coming up.
Consistent pressure by the Eagles defensive line here in this 2-minute situation. They have not allowed Eli Manning to feel comfortable at all in the pocket, rushing his throws. Down to another 4th down.
They must get to the Eagles' 48. Manning throws, and it's broken up. He was looking for Will Tye. Michael Kendricks got a hand on it. So the Philadelphia Eagles are going to win their season finale.
Will Tye working from the tight end spot. You had 2 vertical routes down the field that were deeper. Will Tye and Ruben Randall. Odell Beckham Jr. working underneath on a crossing route. And if it is the last game for Tom Coughlin, it came right down to the wire again. And I would not want to have to be John Mara, the president and CEO, or Steve Tisch, the chairman, right now to make this decision, because there's reasons why on both sides. They've been under 500 for the 3rd consecutive year. That hasn't happened in 35 years. We talked about only 1 playoff appearance in the last 7 years, but there's so many positives. This is going to be interesting to see how it pans out. Jay Glazer reporting earlier on our pregame show that the Giants will make that change this week, but if it is true and this is Tom Coughlin's last game, I'm glad we were a part of it. It was a pleasure talking with him during the course of the weekend, and we've had him 5 times this season, and Tom Coughlin is always the same. He is a day-to-day, week-to-week, game-to-game guy, and it's been a pleasure working with him.
Absolutely a class act and a future Hall of Famer. His Giants finished the season at 6-10. They dropped 6 of their last 7 games as Tom Coughlin exits and receives a standing ovation from the fans here at MetLife. Disappointing ending to the season for Eli Manning and the Giants. Eagles finish out at 7-9. It's been a great year for Daryl Johnston and Laura Oakman. We say so long. Time now for the State Farm Game Break. To Los Angeles we go.